10 years ago, I was broke, and I mean completely flat broke. We were buried in debt, living on credit cards, and I couldn't even make a $240 car payment. Fast forward to today, I live in Italy with my wife and our 3 kids. We're 100% debt-free. We purchased our house in cash, and it's all because of one thing: a career in software sales. In this video, I'll share with you my journey of how I got here. Not because my story is important, but because I believe that sales has the power to change your life too, even if you've never worked in sales or technology. From a young age, I've always wanted to make an impact, and I thought that it would be through ministry. In fact, my degree's in Greek and Hebrew translation because I wanted to become a pastor. But when I graduated in 2009, I realized that's not the direction I wanted to take. Plus, it was the height of the financial crisis and nobody was hiring. My father and grandfather had both built successful careers in insurance, and they invited me to join them. Honestly, I didn't want to. I did not want to be that third-generation salesperson. But the truth is, I needed money and I wanted to get married, so I said yes. From my grandfather, I learned persuasion and confidence. And from my dad, I learned how to treat customers and serve them so well that they come back year after year. It was a valuable experience. But the truth is, I hated sales. I was terrified of it. I couldn't even make cold calls to customers who had been working with our family business for over 30 years. So I left, and I did what most people suggest. I followed my passions, and I went into video production and photography. I took out a loan, I bought gear, I built up a portfolio, and I even did behind the scenes work with Zac Efron and Seth Rogen. I was good at my craft. But skills don't equal income if you can't sell. I'm gonna say that again. Skills don't equal income if you can't sell. My wife and I, we lived frugally. Tiny apartment, beans and rice and beans for almost every meal. But that didn't matter. The debt kept piling higher and higher every single month. And it got to the point where we were even putting our rent on the credit card and doing the zero interest credit card shuffle. If you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'll never forget, the low point for me was when I had to sell back our minivan to the dealership because I couldn't make the $240 a month payment. That moment broke me. I felt like I had failed my wife, failed my kids, failed myself, and failed my business. My belief at that time was that I was bad at business and terrible with finances. You see, I thought that marketing alone would bring in business. That if I had the best portfolio and offered the best customer experience, then people would want to come and work with me. But marketing just creates attention. It does not close deals. The truth was simple but hard. I needed to get good at sales. So I started learning. I read books, I listened to podcasts, I absorbed everything that I could. And then I asked myself the question, if I'm going to make money in sales, what's the best possible path? I like technology, and so I Googled, who makes the most money in tech sales? And the answer jumped off the screen. Large enterprise sellers at cybersecurity companies. It said if they were good, they could make up to $300,000 a year. For someone making nothing, that was mind-blowing. And it was a light bulb moment for me. So I literally looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to become a large enterprise account executive at a cybersecurity company. The problem, I had zero real sales experience. So I put $1,000 that I didn't have on a credit card to buy a sales program, and I started the only place I could, selling cars. I didn't know anything about cars. I couldn't tell you what a differential or a turbocharger were, but I knew that it would force me to face rejection, learn negotiation, and build resilience. So I walked into a dealership and I walked out with a job. And I sold cars every day, all day. I wrote my goals daily. I studied my sales program and I immersed myself in my craft 24/7. That experience gave me enough confidence to land my first software sales job in Austin as an inside seller. Suddenly, I was learning tech, product, and how to do B2B sales. But it wasn't smooth sailing. After just a year, I was fired for low performance. And yet that setback pushed me exactly where I wanted to be, CrowdStrike. For the first time, I was in cybersecurity sales, and I was one step closer to that dream of being an enterprise seller at a cybersecurity company. I was one of the first AEs in the Austin office, helping them open the WeWork before they even moved their headquarters there, and I was hooked. But here's the reality. Just because you hit your goal doesn't mean that the journey is gonna get any easier. After CrowdStrike, I joined 2 startups back to back, and I was laid off twice in 1 year. Entire sales teams were cut as those companies struggled to survive. It was brutal and honestly demoralizing. The kind of thing that makes you think, am I even good at sales? Is this what I should be doing with my life? But eventually, those hard lessons and failures set the stage for the opportunity that would change everything: Exonius. When I joined Exonius, the company was barely doing $3 million in annual recurring revenue. It was just a small team of scrappy sellers and builders. But I knew that this was my chance to build something special. Over 5 years at Exonius, I was promoted from AE to large enterprise AE, hitting that goal that I had Googled so long ago, then to manager, and finally to director of global business development and inside sales. I helped scale teams, build playbooks, and grew alongside one of the fastest growing cybersecurity startups in history. But it wasn't a solo journey. I had the privilege of building incredible teams, pouring into amazing people, and learning just as much from them in return. The impact we created together shaped me so much more than any metric or title ever could. And I owe so much to the people I worked with along the way. During that time, I was making multiple 6 figures a year. We paid off all of our debt, we saved, invested, maxed out our 401ks, and gave generously. We even built our dream home right outside of Austin with solar panels, backup batteries, and 2 shiny EVs. But the biggest reward wasn't the money. It was the impact and the freedom. And in 2024, we sold everything and we moved our family to Italy. Now, we spend our days exploring Europe, meeting new people, taking time out in the garden, drinking good wine, and living life on our terms. And here's a lesson I want you to take away from this. Sales is not about hitting quota or being a fancy closer like Harvey Specter. It's a vehicle for freedom, for leadership, and for impact. When I started, I hated sales. I was terrified of rejection. I still kind of am a little. But through grit, perseverance, and coachability, it became the very thing that transformed my life. And I know that if it can do that for me, a kid from South Texas who wanted to be a pastor, it can do the exact same thing for you, no matter your background. If you're ready to design your future, subscribe to this channel right now. Seriously, go click like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It does help. Because I'm gonna be sharing videos every week on sales mastery, leadership growth, and creating a life of impact and freedom. And if you're just starting your journey and want to land that first sales role, stay tuned. I'll be sharing exactly how to ace your interview process in an upcoming video.